What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. It's your boy Sean. In today's video, I'm going to talk about what I want to see from my wish list on a new iteration of iPad Pro. iPad Pro M2 is just about 1 year old, and so this thing is due for a new model. And knowing Apple, the way they're pushing out chips, it'll probably be iPad Pro M3. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what I want to see in the brand new iPad. So let's get into it. Right off the bat, display. I think everyone watching this video, everyone in the tech space, at least from what I've seen on social media and Twitter, we want OLED, baby. We want OLED. So OLED screens, and could you give us bigger screen size? Now, this iPad right here is the 11-inch. So when I talk about bigger screen size, I'd love for them to keep the 11-inch for portability's sake, but then give us a 14-inch. All right, so keep the 11-inch, give us a 14-inch, smaller bezels, and OLED. This might be the fantasy item on my list, but I believe it comes at 120 Hertz, the Pro. So is it possible to get more than 120? I don't know. Let me know if that's possible. I'm not super nerdy. If higher than 120 does something special to make this more of a pro level product, I would take higher than 120. It might push them to bring higher than 120 to next year's model of iPhone, the 16 or 17 Ultra, whatever they're gonna call it. So fantasy item, higher refresh rate, but I think we can get OLED, and I think we could get a little bit bigger screen. So that's what I wanna see for display. Next here is colors. All right, Apple, colors. I don't know what you think about professionals, if professionals aren't fun, but give us some fun colors. All right, so this is the space gray. I don't mind the space gray. I don't mind the silver, but I'd love to maybe see gold. Maybe you pull a brown, maybe a lavender or purple, just something fun. All right, pros can have fun. Steal one of those fun colors from the base model, or the Air or the Mini. Give us a fun color. I'd love to see that in the iPad Pro. And along with the category of colors, could we get a new Apple Pencil Gen 3? Could we get that? And could we make it space gray or black? I mean, we've got other products that you make. This is just a Magic Mouse. I have the trackpad around here somewhere, both in space gray. We know you can make your products different colors. Can we get a space gray Apple Pencil? I've been waiting for the space gray charging box for AirPods. So I know you can change the colors. I'd love to see some more fun colors in the iPad, and I'd love to see maybe the release of a new Apple Pencil in space gray. The next biggest one on my list is cameras. All right, cameras. This right here, where is it? This little camera right here, this is not cutting it, Apple, for Pro device. I want to say this is 12 megapixel main camera and 10 megapixel selfie camera. I'll double check. If it's wrong, I'll throw it up on the screen, but that's not pro level, considering we have iPhones now with 48 megapixel, 24 megapixel, the different zooms. Give us some pro level cameras. Okay, so the notes that I have here, just with the pro level cameras, maybe they won't give us 48 and 24 megapixel. Maybe that's too much of a bump. I don't know. But with better cameras, you're going to be able to get just another level of professional out of this. If you're a person that takes photos, that you do video, I don't do a lot of editing on my iPad for that because, like I said, I MacBook, but I don't want to take a whole bunch of stuff with me. So if this camera was more professional level, where I could go and shoot my video and then sit down and edit on the iPad as well, considering we have Final Cut Pro and DaVinci Resolve have iPad apps now, this would just be, I'm leaving the house with this. You get a cellular iPad, you're leaving with this. You can shoot your video, shoot your photos, sit down on cellular, sit down on Wi-Fi, wherever, edit on the 14-inch, and you're good to go. Pro level cameras, I think, would just make this pro. If that's all they brought, if they didn't give us the OLED and they just gave us the pro level cameras, I think that would be a good enough upgrade on an iPad. Now, obviously, we want to see some of these other things, but come on, this isn't cutting it, all right? And I wouldn't mind if they just recessed it in to the iPad and made it flat. Now, I know the iPhone has this, like, you guys know, I've got a screen protector on mine, but the iPhone's got like this ginormous lip on the camera, the ginormous bump. If we could get a recessed iPad, maybe it sets the stage for a recessed camera on the iPhone. I don't mind a flatter device just for a little bit more thickness to hide the camera. I like just the smoothness. I don't know if other Apple folks out there, if you guys get irritated setting your products on the table and they're all curved and tilted because of the bump on the back. So I wouldn't mind that, but you gotta give us some more megapixels, Apple. You gotta. Again, if these are pro level devices, we need some pro level features, okay? This next category right here in my notes, this is all fantasy. All right, we may or may not get any of these. These might be impossible to bring to the iPad, but I wanna see iPhone, we have curved display, curved edges now on the front. I'd love to see a refresh in design, maybe curved on the iPad. This still has that boxy, square, rectangle, I don't know, whichever way you hold it. Just still has that boxy feel to it. So I'd love the curved edges on here. You could keep it the steel or whatever it is. You don't have to go full titanium. I don't need a titanium iPad. Okay, the price on that would be probably ridiculous. I don't mind the material. I don't mind what it's made out of, but it just, I don't know. How many people can palm their iPad? I don't know how many people can palm their iPads. I don't know if the curved edges is really gonna have that much impact unless you're like me or you can palm it. But I don't know, just a simple, you're holding it like this, might be more comfortable if the edges were rounded. So I'd like to see that. I'd like to see us get rid of, oh, that's not what we want to see. I'd like for us to get rid of the notch. You can kind of see it here. I'll try to reflect it off there. I'd like to get rid of the notch. Can you bring us dynamic island? Now I know there's an issue with the camera, I think on the base model, where it's now in like landscape mode or something like that. So iPads have that weird challenge of where do you want to put the camera? That might be the challenge for dynamic island. So maybe it's a stationary dynamic island like the iPhone. Maybe it's a floating widget. So when it's in landscape, you can still see it up here. And then when you're in portrait, it's up here. But I'm not a design engineer. I don't know what they would need to do to make that happen, but dynamic island I think would be dope, especially since the iPhone 15 lineups all have it. I think more features are going to be coming to dynamic island through software, and so just having iPads on that level I think would be nice. All right, if possible, another fantasy item, we've got our USB-C down here. I would love to have a card slot somewhere down here, a designated SD card slot. Okay, that's a super fantasy because not everybody who uses this might want an SD card slot, but I would love to just have a designated slot so that the USB-C is open for other dongles, for charging, for other accessories. I hate that the main reason I use the USB-C is just to plug in a dongle so that I can plug in an SD card. That in itself makes me leave this at home because on the MacBook, I can just pop my SD card into the MacBook. So designated SD card slot I think would be dope. And give us an action button. Now, anybody that has an iPad knows that they've got some room, especially on the Pro model, they've got the room for the magnet here. So there's a little magnet in here for the Apple Pencil. So the Apple Pencil takes up a lot of the real estate there, which you're really only left with a little bit of room to put any additional buttons. I mean, the volume buttons are already super tiny as it is. So design-wise, I don't know if they move the magnet down for the Apple Pencil and it's more down here, which would give you room for some buttons, but I don't know. I'd love to see an action button with the Pros having it. The Pro level iPad, it just would be dope, I think, to have an action button. And again, this is a button that I think is going to evolve over time with iOS 17, iOS 18. I think there's a lot of programmable stuff through software that you can make the action button do. As a professional, even as a student, just an everyday device, I think being able to have some programmable shortcuts on an iPad would be dope. So give us an action button, please. All right. That's all I got for design. Next section here is power. Now I need you to listen up. Anybody that works at Apple, that's a part of the Apple process, think tank, whatever, I need you to listen to me and listen to me darn good right here, Apple, for power. The number one thing that I want to see from power is, please, for the love of all things tech, I want to see my cycle count for my battery in iPad, okay? Without having to download a third-party app. So I don't know if I'm missing something, if it's hidden somewhere in the code, but it's not in the battery section in settings. I can't see my cycle count. It's the only product I have no idea how the health of my battery is doing. So at everything I'm gonna say about power, let me see the cycle count. That's it. If that's all you take from power, is just giving me the cycle count, I will take that. But here's some other considerations. A little bit bigger battery, the possibility of Magsafe, okay? Fantasy, again, it's very fantasy. That may not be able to happen, but give us Magsafe. And if you're gonna give us a new chip, give us a new chip that does something, all right? I don't really care too much for the raw power and girth and force of the chips that you're putting in your products because, again, I'm an average person. Most people are average consumers. That power is way too much overkill. I actually probably didn't even need to get the M2 iPad. I could have kept my 2018 M1 Pro, but I just want cycle count. Gosh darn it, give me cycle count. That's all I'm gonna say about power. Last nitpicky thing that I have that I wanna see on a new iPad is, I wanna see bigger base storage, Apple, okay? 128 is not enough. Can we start at 256? And that's given you're gonna give us the better cameras with the bigger file size and just, yeah, who cares? 256 is just pro level storage, especially again, if this is gonna be someone's school device or work device. 128 is not cutting it, right? It's not cutting it at this late in the game on a pro product that I'm spending over $1,000 on to purchase this. It basically is just a ginormous, you can see it here. It's basically just a ginormous iPhone. Okay, give me some more storage. Okay, so 256 base storage minimum, and I'm not a nerd here, but I guess more RAM doesn't hurt. I don't know, maybe give us some more RAM. You guys throw that in on all your promotional stuff, like we're supposed to know what more RAM does for us, but give us some more RAM, all right? Because you guys, the $200, $300 a pop for storage is crazy. Give us 256 to start off with. Us regular peasant folk, that should be enough to carry us over. Okay, can you do that for me, Apple? Please try to be thoughtful. But that ends my rant, y'all. All right, you guys are probably tired of hearing me talk about what I want to see in an iPad. I want you guys drop in the comments, what do you guys want to see in the brand new iPad Pro M3? I gave you my wish list. I'll put on the screen somewhere the recap of what I've added on there, what I want to see. If you like this video, give me a like, put me a thumbs up. If you want to see more content, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, turn on the bell if you want to know when we go live. We get into it over here. We get into it. I had fun making this video. I had fun sharing my thoughts with you guys. I'm outie to the next one. So, like always, be blessed. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.